You know, no matter what happens, I know I've got the power to put anybody down in this division.
It's gonna be the body work.
But that opens up the headshots. Be a technical knockout victory for Naoya Inoue here in the 7th round. And I don't know how much that last...
The drama surrounding this fight wasn't just about titles or rankings. It was about time running out. One man stepped into the ring chasing a last chance to reclaim greatness, carrying the weight of age, injuries, and unfinished business. The other stood there as boxing's modern executioner, undefeated, unstoppable, and building a legacy that terrified entire divisions. When an Irish champion finally dared to challenge Naoya Inoue, it wasn't a question of if the fight would be violent. It was a question of how long hope could survive before the monster took it away. It had been building quietly for years, through long flights across continents, through victories that kept hope alive and losses that never quite stopped haunting the back of the mind. For TJ Doheny, this was not just another title shot. It was the final turn of the key, the last door he could realistically kick open before time made the decision for him. At 37 years old, with miles on his body and scars earned the hard way, he stepped into the ring knowing exactly what was at stake. This wasn't about money or headlines. This was about reclaiming a version of himself he once held in his hands and lost. Across from him stood Naoya Inoue, a man whose reputation had already grown beyond belts and records. Inoue wasn't just undefeated, he wasn't just dominant. He wasn't just a knockout artist feared across multiple weight classes. He was something rarer in modern boxing, a fighter whose presence alone reshaped expectations. When Inoue entered the ring, opponents didn't just fight him, they fought the weight of his resume, the memory of others who had tried and failed, and the knowledge that one mistake could erase months, even years, of preparation in a single instant. Doheny knew all of that. He'd studied it. He'd lived with it during training camps and quiet nights alone. With 26 wins and 20 knockouts, he wasn't walking in blind or intimidated. Power had always been his equalizer, the one truth he trusted above all else. He had said it plainly before the fight, with no bravado and no theatrics. It didn't matter how skillful someone was. Everyone could be touched. Everyone could be put down. And deep down, that belief was the only reason he was still here, chasing belts instead of memories. For Inoue, the fight carried a different kind of pressure. A win would be another chapter in an already historic run, a reinforcement of his status as one of the pound-for-pound best fighters on the planet. A loss, unthinkable as it seemed to many, would fracture the myth. He had already conquered 4 weight classes, already collected championships in light flyweight, junior bantamweight, and super bantamweight. He had dismantled champions and challengers alike, stopping most of them with frightening efficiency. Yet boxing has a way of narrowing everything down to one night, one opponent, one sequence of moments that can tilt a legacy in either direction. When the bell rang for round 1, there was no immediate chaos. Instead, there was patience, calculation, and the subtle language of 2 professionals reading each other in real time. Doheny tested distance, his southpaw stance presenting angles that had troubled others before. Inoue responded with measured pressure, inching forward without rushing, already probing the body with intent. It was clear early on that Inoue had no interest in a reckless start. He respected the power across from him, especially that sweeping left-hand Doheny had built his career around. As the round unfolded, Inoue began to corner Doheny against the ropes, not with wild flurries, but with positioning. Every step was deliberate. Every jab was a question. The body shots started landing with a dull, echoing thud that carried through the arena. Doheny tried to fire back, but Inoue's timing and balance allowed him to slip just enough to avoid the worst of it. When the round ended, the message was subtle but unmistakable. Inoue was in control, and he had only just started gathering information. Round 2 opened with Doheny attempting to shift the momentum. He pressed forward, looking to establish his left early and disrupt Inoue's rhythm. For a brief moment, it worked. A couple of body shots landed clean, and the crowd stirred as the Irishman showed flashes of the danger he still possessed. But Inoue adjusted almost immediately. He didn't retreat in panic. He stood his ground, countered sharply, and began mixing shots upstairs after digging into the body. The lesson was clear. Every success Doheny found came with a cost, and Inoue was more than willing to collect interest. Inoue's approach was surgical. He feinted constantly, forcing Doheny to react, to guard the body, to hesitate just long enough for openings to appear upstairs. The power didn't come from wild swings. It came from precision, short hooks, straight rights, compact combinations that didn't look dramatic until you saw the effect they had. Doheny absorbed them, stayed upright, and kept working, but the balance of the fight was tilting, slowly and steadily. By the third round, Doheny began to find his rhythm. This was where his experience showed. He adjusted his footwork, used subtle feints of his own, and finally started landing cleaner shots to the body. Inoue, while still effective, wasn't as active as before. He allowed Doheny to take space, perhaps intentionally, perhaps as part of a larger plan. The exchanges grew more competitive, and for the first time, it felt like Doheny was truly in the fight rather than reacting to it. Still, even in this more balanced phase, Inoue's presence loomed. His jab remained sharp. His body work never stopped. Every time Doheny committed to an attack, Inoue answered with something that reminded him who he was facing. It wasn't domination, but it was control, the kind that doesn't always show on scorecards but accumulates in the muscles and lungs. Round 4 raised the intensity further. Both men traded heavier shots now, testing durability as much as skill. Doheny landed looping lefts that would have dropped many fighters, and Inoue absorbed them with composure, his guard tight, his feet always ready to reset. Inoue fired back with combinations that snapped Doheny's head and forced him backward. The exchanges were thrilling, tense, and dangerous, and yet Inoue never seemed rushed. He was reading, adjusting, storing data. As the fight moved into the 5th, the narrative began to shift. Inoue changed gears, subtly at first. He varied his rhythm, sometimes pressing forward, sometimes inviting Doheny to come to him. This wasn't hesitation. It was strategy. He was testing endurance, watching reactions, gauging how much resistance remained. Doheny continued to work bravely, landing body shots and jabs, but there was less snap now. The earlier urgency had dulled, and the toll of Inoue's relentless body attack was becoming impossible to hide. The 6th round felt like a turning point. Inoue's confidence grew visibly. He bounced more on his toes, changed levels fluidly, and began to enjoy himself in the ring. His defense tightened even further, gloves catching shots that might have slipped through earlier. When he landed, it was with authority. A liver shot here, a straight right down the middle there. Doheny tried to respond, tried to dig deep, but his movements were slower, his reactions half a beat behind. Observers could sense it. Inoue had figured him out. Whatever danger existed early on had been mapped, neutralized, and dismantled piece by piece. The power that once gave Doheny belief was still there, but it no longer carried the same threat. Inoue walked through it not recklessly, but confidently, knowing his own power would only grow as the fight wore on. Then came the 7th round, and with it, the beginning of the end. Inoue came out aggressively, sensing vulnerability. His punches landed with sharp, echoing impact, especially to the body. Doheny's reactions betrayed him now. A grimace, a hesitation, a step that didn't come as easily as before. One body shot in particular changed everything. Doheny reacted immediately, signaling to the referee. His face contorted not in pain alone, but in disbelief. He couldn't continue. Whether it was a muscle above the hip, a back issue, or something deeper, it didn't matter. The fight was over. Within seconds, gloves were dropped, and the reality settled in. A technical knockout. A brutal ending not defined by a dramatic collapse, but by the unmistakable truth that the body had reached its limit. For Naoya Inoue, the victory was another milestone, another confirmation of greatness. He had faced a dangerous, experienced opponent and dismantled him with intelligence, patience, and devastating precision. His legacy grew heavier, more undeniable. For TJ Doheny, the night marked the end of a journey that had been fueled by belief and resilience. He had taken his final shot, stood across from one of the best in the world, and given everything he had left. Boxing can be cruel that way. It offers redemption and closure in the same breath, but it never guarantees the outcome you want. On this night, the monster lived up to his name, and the challenger walked away knowing he had dared to test it. If you followed Naoya Inoue's career, where does this victory rank among his most impressive performances? And do you think TJ Doheny could have changed the outcome with a different approach, or was this always inevitable? Let us know your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the fights and stories that define the sport.